Alright, yo, what's good? What's bracking? It is your boy, the DJC, aka The Don Juan Carlos, and we're here for some more content on DJ's Destiny channel. What it do? What's bracking with you? As you can see from the title, we back here talking about high stat rolled armor here in Beyond Light, Destiny 2, all that goodness. And this video is really more to like kind of set you up with information about what you need about high stat rolled armor, because there's a lot of Bungie, quote unquote, says that high stat rolled armor drops in various places, but from my testing, and I've done a lot of it, this is like a full, guide to how to set you up and what to look for in your high stat rolled armor. So if you want to check out more videos, go, you know where to find me. I'm over here. I'm out here. We about to just get started and jump right into it. So we're kind of just gonna do this video in orbit because there isn't really much to show you if we're actually like in the world space or in the tower or whatever. We can just do this all from orbit. So there's a couple things that you need to look for when it comes to high stat rolled armor. I'm gonna open up my stat sheet right here. As you can see, my stats on the right side of the screen, I got like 28 mobility, 28 resilience, 104 recov, 100 freaking discipline, 28 intellect, and 73 strength. Now you might ask yourself, well, wait, hey DJ, how'd you get all those high stats? And I'll tell you. First thing you need to know about high stat rolled armor is that high stat rolled armor doesn't exist. As much as Bungie says high stat rolled armor exists, it does not. It is actually a myth, because a lot of the high stat rolled, quote unquote, high stat rolled armor that you can get is really trash or only has one stat that's really high, right? When you're looking for high stat rolled armor, what's an example? These gloves are an example of high stat rolled armor, right? When you're looking for high stat rolled armor, the first thing you want to look for first thing to look at, like, what in terms you're going to be doing on your build. So what it is that you want to focus on. If you want to focus on mobility, getting armor with a lot of mobility is really good. However, when it comes to high stats, you want two really high stats. You don't want just one, because if you have two, you're better off. You can flex more so. You have the more ability to flex when it comes to different activities. So usually what I do is I run max 100 recov, 100 resilient, 100 discipline, because I play Devour a lot, or I play Top Tree Void a lot, and with 100 recov I can always hide behind a corner and recov really fast, or recover really fast. Or if I'm playing Devour and I can't recov, I can always pop a grenade really fast, because also, my class ability goes down to 41 seconds. The Rift is a 41-second cooldown, and of course with other mods and other abilities and junk, it comes back even faster. But we got 104, so we have increased recovery rate. We have also increased decreased cooldown of my Rift. And then of course, if you have grenade, your grenade is on a 53-second cooldown. And of course with Demolitionist, then like the Demolitionist increase gets you 10% of your grenade back every kill. And then of course if you have Devour, every kill gives you 10% of your grenade back. And if you're running Nezarec Sin, every void kill gives you energy back into your abilities. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you can do here. So first off, when it comes to high stat rolls, you really want to look at like what you're building. I know some people build high mobility, high strength on like a Titan, because Titan charging is cool, and Titan charging is cool and it one-shots people. Or if you're on 100, they build high mobility, high recov, because jumping 30 feet into the air and then recovering with Wormhusk is pretty PovChamp, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't play Hunter, but we really out here. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So first off, like I said before, Bungie's high stat rolls do not exist. Those are not real, and you should really ignore anything that Bungie says when it comes to high stat rolls. Because of course they in Season of the Worthy 2 seasons ago, they said, yeah, we increased high stat rolls for exotic armor, but you have to consider what exactly they increase. So if we go to one exotic armor per se, Apophis Veil, it is base 16 intellect, and that is a guaranteed at minimum 16. But why would you need that on an exotic that is garbage? That is garbage. It's really not good. So here's what you're looking for. Here's what you're looking for, right? First off, when what's considered a high stat roll, in my opinion, and when we talk to when I talk to my homies, it's any piece of armor. The first thing you need to look for is any piece of armor that's base 65 without any increases. So, for example, this is base 60. Uh, this is base 60 pre any increases because it minus the 10 from the melee. It would be 60. This is minus 10. That'd be 74 minus 12. That'd be 62. Oh, and it's like it flexes around 65. I should really clarify. It flexes around 65, but 65 is the sweet point. You want to get all your armor at. So this is 62 with both stats reduced. Pre-masterwork. This is you take 10 off. That's 75 minus 12. This is a 63 chess piece with all the stats and everything. And then this is you take you actually got to take 30 off, which is 74, and then you take 12 off, and that's another 62 piece of armor. And then of course my Felwinter's helm, but you take 10 off, which is 71 minus 12, that's a 59. So that's what we're kind of looking at. So your first thing to measure is it close? Is it above or close to 65? So anything ranging from 62 to 65, anything ranging from 65 and above, because it's very rare that you get it, but it is possible to get a armor that drops at 70 stat, but the drop rate for that is absolutely cracked out of its mind, and it's insane. It's insane. So 65, number 65 is a good place to look for when you're looking for high stat rolled armor. Hopefully, if you get a 65, it's focused in the stats that you want. But an overall 65 is pretty decent. You can't go wrong with a 65. Now, the piece number 2 for high stat rolled armor is, me personally, and I've talked to the homies about this. High stat roll armor for me is anything that has at minimum 2 stats that are at least 20. At least 20. Because if you have 2 stats that are at least 20 outside, and of course the bond doesn't count because this only drops at it drops at 0, and until you masterwork it, that's the only time you get the +2 in each stat. So stats that are at least 20 in each slot, like these gloves, for example, they're at least 20. If you have 4 pieces of armor that are at least 20, so if this is 2020, this is 2020, this is 2020, and this is 2020, you have. And if they're all the same stats, if you get lucky, you have 2 stats that are base 80 by themselves. So if you have high mobility, if you get 20 in mobility, 20 in strength, you got 20, you would have 4 pieces of armor with 20 mobility, that's 80, and then 4 pieces of armor that has 20 mobility, which is 80 here. And then all you would have to do is put 2 strength mods on and 2 mobility mods on, and you'll have 100 strength and 100 mobility. It doesn't matter what any of the other stats are, because a lot, especially for example, this glove is the perfect sense of like of high stat rolled armor. It doesn't matter what these other stats are. 2 mobility, 2 resilience, and 2 intellect. Doesn't matter. This pair of gloves with pre the stat increase, mind you, it's not even a stat increase in discipline or recov, puts me over the top in the amount of stats that I have. Because it's 20, and what I need, it's 20 in recov. It's over 20 in recov, and it's over 20 in discipline. Like, these are the type of things that you're looking for. Technically speaking, this Iron Remembrance Vents isn't a high stat rolled armor. However, this raid Gunsmith Devotions robe is, because it dropped at base. Mind you, this dropped at base 30 recovery, and I think that's one of the few things. Like, if it's 30 or above, it doesn't as long as how should I put this? The higher one stat is, the less of a difference you need in the second stat. So if we're going for, you need two stats in total that are 40. If one stat is astronomically higher than the second stat, the difference in the between the two stats makes a difference in the high stat rolled armor. So like I said, this is base 30, and then this one dropped at 17. It could have been I don't know. It could have been 13 and been fine because this is 10 over the overall 20 stat. But it dropped at 17, which is even better, and I got extremely lucky. And then if I put a recov mod on this, I can have a base 40 recov chest piece, just a chest piece, and then I can focus on discipline and other places in my build. It's it's wild. It's absolutely wild. That's the other thing. High stat rolled armor, yeah. Having 26 freaking intellect is cool, but it honestly depends on what the other stats are. It again, two stats that equal 40 is where you want to be, and if one's astronomically higher than the other one, the difference makes it a high stat rolled piece of armor. So a lot of things you want to look for is you want, back to the overall total number. You want the overall total to be higher than be higher than 65 pre masterwork. So a lot of the activities. So if you go to Pit of Heresy, which doesn't give Pinnacle anymore this year, which is weird, but hey man, pop off king. Uh, a lot of that armor drops masterwork, but none of that is high stat rolled armor, and it's really bad. It's really bad. So because it drops around like 60, you can even drop at 60 at 58. So you want to talk about armor that's like fully masterwork that is absolute trash. You only run Pit of Heresy to just get upgrade materials. That's the only reason you run it, and even less so now because there's no pinnacles dropping from Pit. So that's one thing, right? I want to talk to you about. Is there anything else that I'm missing? I don't think I am. I don't think I am. You're really looking for two stats that are high, or you're looking for an overall base, or you want a stat that's astronomically high, so the other stats don't matter. I think that's pretty much it when it comes to stat roll, because this dropped at 1717, which is not. This is technically not a high stat rolled helmet. However, my this helmet is, because it dropped at 24, and then it has 15 in discipline, and then I can up it to 34 pre-masterwork. So up it to 32 actually pre-masterwork. So that's a good place for this to be. So I want to talk to you about where to get them. There's a lot of places that say you can get high stat rolled armor, but it's not real. First off, when Prophecy comes back, Prophecy is a good place to farm high stat rolled armor because it's a lot easier to get high stat rolled armors in there. For me personally, I've been grinding out for my solo flawless for Prophecy, and I did the first encounter a bunch with and without dying. So if you just farm the first encounter and basically, I'm not sure if you could one phase it anymore, but if you kill the first encounter, a lot of the powerful loot that drops from Prophecy has a chance to be high stat rolled. That's where I actually got these boots from. It was from the first chest that dropped at high stat rolled, and it dropped with, it was like 20. It was 20 recov and 26 discipline, I think that is. Because you take 10 off, that's 28 minus 2, yeah, that's 26. So it dropped at 20, 22, 26. This pair of gloves I got from last season dropped just from uncoding and Umbral Ingram. I didn't focus any of the armor because focusing armor in high stat, which you can't do anymore in this season, was terrible, and it was a debate because sometimes you'll focus a stat into like strength, get 15 strength, and then get 20 in like mobility. It's random, which sucks, which is cool in one sense, but sucks at the same time. Like this. Oh, here's another example of a high stat rolled armor. I don't really use this pair of gloves, but this is a high stat rolled armor. This is this dropped at 23 intellect, and then I increased it to 24 on discipline. But it has two. This is the three piece because it still has 16, which is pretty decent in resilience, and it has 14 in recov. And I upped the recov to 24, so it's 24-13. If I masterwork it, it'll go up to 26-25. So it's kind of, and if, I don't think I can put traction on this thing. What can I put on this thing? No. Okay. I think traction is just on legs. Good. That's what it should be on. But of course, you have like the seasonal mods that increase your stats and stuff like that. So this is kind of what you're looking for. So yeah, dungeons, specifically prophecy, is where you can get, which is a reliable source of high stat rolled armor. You want to go farm your chests. You can only get the chests weekly, but all the encounters are farmable because you can they're not locked out. So you can run prophecy a bunch of times until you get a piece of armor that you really enjoy and really like. Another place that you can get high stat rolled armor is from Iron Banner. I got this chest piece from Iron Banner 2 seasons ago, I guess. I got another chest piece that's really high that dropped in IB, but it didn't. It's it was a really early one, really early IB. So if you where I get those is from turning in your tokens to Saladin. You're more likely to get armor from there. So that has it's not reliable, but it is. It's like reliable and not. It's very finicky. It's a double-edged sword. Yeah, you can get high stat rolled armor from Saladin from turning in the tokens, but at the same time, the freaking weapons are in the loot pool as well. So you have to consider. It's really a toss up in what you're getting, but high stat rolled armor does drop from Saladin, and that is a source. Another source for high stat rolled armor is the raids. This I got this piece of armor from Scourge, and I think this is my first Scourge run that I got this high statted rolled chest piece. And it's rare, but it's possible because a lot of those encounters drop at powerful tier 1. And powerful tier 1s have a higher chance of dropping at high statted rolls than tier 2 and tier 3. So raids are also, well, I wouldn't say it's a good place, but you have more of a chance of getting high stat rolled armor by doing a raid. Especially, the only reason it's not reliable is because of the weekly lockout. So you'd have to run it on all three characters every week to try and get a single piece of armor that's high stat rolled. But you know, sometimes, like this helmet that dropped at 1717, sometimes being a little under is just enough. Like this piece of armor. And another source is exotics. Most exotics should be dropping at really high stat rolls. Sometimes it won't drop because, you know, it's ass, but hey. Oh, this is another example of the dungeon dropping high stat. This dropped at 26 discipline 26 discipline, 18 recov, which is not terrible. It's really good. So dungeon, and it has 17 resilience on it, which isn't bad either. Dungeons are a good place. Like I said, dungeons are a good place to farm exotics, and of course you got. I say dungeons are a good place to farm exotics. Dungeons are a good place to farm exotic. Is a good place to farm high stat rolled armor. Exotics can also drop a high stat roll. It honestly just depends. You can actually pull a Phoenix Cradle on Titan, and it has like 22 discipline, which is okay, but everything else is pretty bad. So where's Phoenix Cradle at? It's right here. It's like 22 discipline, 10 recov, and 10 mobility, which is okay, but it's not. It's kind of ass. 10, 10, and a 22 doesn't really do much for you. So, hey man, if you only want one high stat, it's fine. But if you want to hit that sweet spot and get two, I wouldn't pull anything from collections because a lot of collection stuff is absolute trash. So, that's really it. You know, it's honestly, at the end of the day, it's honestly RNG. But there are more reliable sources that you can get them from, and you really. The main thing is you got to remember three things, right? Three very important things. One, you want to be around base 65 If you can get a 62, that's pretty good. 65 is the sweet number, and then anything above that is, oh man, that is super awesome. Then of course you want the second thing you want to look for is any two stats that are at least 20 or above. And then the third thing is if you have an extra astronomically high stat, like something that has base 30, is another good thing to look for. But that's about it. If you have any more questions about high stat rolled armor or like there's more nuances that you're looking for, definitely leave it in the comment section. Uh, I'll let you know. I'll respond. I'll try to respond as much as I can, and we'll just figure this out. So happy hunting. Make sure you get all those high stat rolls, and I'm gonna catch you guys later. Deuces.